We regularly answer frequently asked questions about life during the coronavirus crisis. If you have a question you'd like us to consider for a future post, email us at goatsandsoda@npr.org with the subject line, Weekly Coronavirus Questions. See an archive of our FAQs here. I live in a place where case counts are dropping. I know they could go back up again, but in the meantime, what COVID precautions are advisable, if any, and what precautions can be put on hold? First things first, the pandemic isn't over. The current surge in Hong Kong, for instance, has produced the highest reported death rate over the past 2+ years of COVID. And the U.S. still has 700 COVID deaths a day, far fewer than a couple of weeks ago but still a staggering and tragic count. And the highly transmissible variant Omicron BA.2 that's causing surges in some countries is now the dominant variant in the U.S. and could bring a surge. But for the vaccinated and boosted in places where numbers are trending downward, times have changed, at least for the moment. Mandatory and even voluntary mask wearing is on the wane. If you don't believe me, come to my neighborhood coffee shop where half the servers and customers are masked and half aren't. If you're fortunate enough to live and work in a community where numbers are dropping, it is indeed an appropriate moment to assess your own risks and the risks of those in you. And then perhaps adjust your personal precautions. As Dr. Preeti Malani puts it, you might decide to dial it down precaution-wise but also be prepared to dial it up if things change. She's an infectious disease doctor and the chief health officer at the University of Michigan. For example, if you've only been an outdoor diner at restaurants, you might weigh going indoors, Malani says, keeping in mind that there are ways to minimize any potential COVID exposure. Maybe go when it's not super crowded, sit in a corner where fewer people are crowded up against you or at a top. She also recommends picking a restaurant with good ventilation. It matters a lot in terms of disrupting the flow of exhaled pathogens.